On today's episode of the Korean Beauty Show podcast, we're going to take a look at how to know if your skin is purging versus reacting. Welcome to the Korean Beauty Show, where we're talking all things Korean skincare, makeup, and more. If you want to learn about the hottest trending products and ingredients straight from South Korea, then this is the podcast for you. Each week, we'll be diving in to take a look at the latest trends, as well as all the tips and tricks you need to perfect your K-beauty routine. I'm your host, Lauren Lee, professional K-beauty expert and founder of Korean beauty platform Style Story. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Korean Beauty Show podcast. Today, I want to explore the difference between purging and reacting to skincare products and how to know whether your skin is just adjusting to a new product or whether it's time to ditch it. But first, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Lauren Lee and I'm the founder of Style Story, an online Korean beauty platform where you can discover and shop all the latest K-beauty products. Today's sponsor is Style Story. You can find us at www.stylestory.com.au. So guys, last week I mentioned that we are doing a competition. It's a chance to win a $100 gift voucher to Style Story for leaving your review for the podcast. So the competition does close on the 15th of September 2020. So make sure that you leave your review and also a little name or handle so that we can find you and let you know that you were actually the winner. I will announce it on the podcast. So if you hear your name, obviously, please slide into my DMs and let me know it's you. So one of the podcast reviews that we have received recently is from Alex555, many fives, I'm not quite sure how many. And Alex says, super informative and chill. I think with the whole Corona thing going around, a lot of us have turned to podcasts, and this one is amazing. I've been shopping at SS for a little over a year now, and Lauren is just perfection. A fellow Brizzy girl, so I have to support her. It feels like I'm talking with a friend every Tuesday, something which is sorely missed. Keep these coming, Lauren. Thank you so much, Alex, for your review. And yes, guys, I look forward to your entries into the competition as well. All right, so on to today's topic, which is purging versus reacting. So this is a really common topic you'll see thrown around. A lot of people will say, oh yeah, I'm breaking out, but it's because of this new product. Once it's over, my skin will be, flawless. Really looking forward to seeing the final results. So here is how to know whether you're actually purging or whether you just do not agree with that product. So purging is a term and it's used to describe the adjustment period when you start using a new product, and your skin will get worse generally before it gets better. So that's really different from a product reaction, because that's when your skin is straight up irritated or allergic to something in the product, and no amount of time, unfortunately, will change that. Once we have an allergic reaction, once the skin shows that it is allergic to a particular ingredient, that's basically it. You just can't go back to using it. So not all products will or should cause purging. The kinds of products that will cause this period of adjustment where you might break out temporarily are things like retinoids, things like retinol, tretinoin, adapalene, isotretinoin, retinol palmitate, those kind of products and ingredients. So that's obviously really common in a lot of anti-acne medications and over-the-counter products and things like that. They will cause these kind of reactions, and your doctor or dermatologist will usually tell you that. If you start a new course of this kind of medication, you will expect your skin to get worse before it gets better. Things like vitamin C, so hydroxy acids like glycolic, lactic, malic, mandelic, salicylic acids, basically all of the acids, fruit acids, benzoyl peroxide, which is really common in a lot of anti-acne face washes and medication, chemical peels, lasers, microdermabrasions, and other type of exfoliants as well, like scrubs, those brushes that you can buy, like pore brushes and things like that, as well as the enzyme exfoliants, so those peeling gels, those kind of products, they can all cause purging. And the reason is this. It occurs because your skin cells are turning over quicker than normal. So basically, when you're using these exfoliating type of products, they're speeding up the skin renewal process, and that's why the skin sometimes, has a little bit of a freak out and it will break out because it's just sped everything up and things are moving quicker than they usually do. So that is, it's also quite common if you're new to exfoliation. So if you've just started exfoliating or just started, a new type of exfoliating product, it's often the same kind of thing. So that's a really easy way to tell if the product that you're using doesn't contain any of those kind of ingredients in it. So it doesn't have vitamin C, it doesn't have acids, it doesn't have retinoids, and you're breaking out, I would be immediately suspicious, because why are you breaking out? What in that product is causing you to break out? It's not the exfoliation that's causing you to break out. So that is one way to really quickly tell, get your red flag alert up whether the product may be not the right one for you, is if it doesn't have any of those things in it. Now, the other, easy way to spot this is the turnaround of the spots themselves. So if you are breaking out, that should be quite quick. Like, it shouldn't keep going for a long time. The general life cycle of a pimple. If it's coming up and going away fairly quickly, then it may just be purging. So purging, no matter how long it lasts, if it's a new product, it really shouldn't be lasting more than about a month. And that's because that's how long the skin takes to renew itself. So if you've got purging that's going on for like 2 or 3 months, that's not purging. That's probably going to be a product reaction. So there are a couple of really quick ways to tell. So I'm going to go into what a product reaction actually looks like. But first, I would love for you guys to join the Style Story mailing list, our newsletter. And if you would like to go into the draw to be one of the first to try Jellicoe's brand new bubble tea steam cream, then we will be selecting testers among the people in our mailing list. So if you head over to www.stylestory.com.au, you will be signed up to our mailing list, and we will send you details as soon as this product launches. It hasn't launched yet. It's brand new. So the product is based off bubble tea. So a really delicious drink, and it's basically in a milk form. It's in a cream form rather, and it's super hydrating. It looks just like bubble tea. So if you would like the chance to win one of these so that you can test it out for yourself, then please go and do that. So skin reactions. A couple of ways that you can tell if your skin is reacting. Because if you are, basically you're going to need to stop using the product, probably give it to someone else, because it's just not going to work out for you. So the first one we already discussed is if the product does not contain any active ingredients. And one ingredient that people do get a little bit tripped up on is hyaluronic acid. So that is not actually an acid. I know, super confusing. Why did they say it's an acid if it's not? But it's not an acid in the sense that, AHAs and BHAs are acids. So hyaluronic acid is actually a water binding ingredient. So it is a humectant. So products that contain hyaluronic acid should not be causing you to break out if that's the only acid in them. So other ways that you can tell is if you get sudden breakouts in new areas, or the spots get consistently worse over time. So they're not getting better, but they're actually just keeping on getting worse. They may also be accompanied by an itchiness, a rash, inflammation, redness, something like that. That is all classic signs of a product reaction, so not just purging. And I think I already mentioned, but if your skin isn't getting better around, the 6 to 8 week mark with the new product, then that is just not good news, and you're going to probably have to stop using it because it's just not the product for you. So there are a couple of ways to tell. So if you do have something in your routine that you're a little bit suspicious about, then obviously cutting it out and then reintroducing it slowly and patch testing it is a really great way to tell whether that product is indeed the culprit. So they're just a couple of tips. Now, when it comes to dealing with breakouts, whether that's because you're purging, if you're reacting, obviously the quickest way to stop the breakout is to stop using the product. But if you are purging, my top tips are, number one, to avoid picking. I know that can be really, really hard, especially if you have a big juicy pimple. You kind of just want to get in there and squeeze it, but that is definitely not the best way. It can cause scarring and those kind of things. So my advice would be to pimple patch it. Pimple patches are really great because they just take your attention and focus and your nails away from the problem, and there's just a nice little cover. So my obviously Subi Perfect Pimple Patch is perfect for this. They're drug-free, so they don't contain any drying ingredients. And obviously if you're using these exfoliating type of products, they are drying the skin out as well. So something that is just a plain hydrocolloid is the way to go for that. Now, the second one is to avoid drying your skin out anymore. And that's for the same reason, right? Like, you don't need to do that because you're using these exfoliating products. So do be careful of doubling up on your acids, on, benzoyl peroxide. And the same goes if you're on anti-acne medication. So that kind of medication is already drying your skin out. So you don't need to go out there and be, plastering it with all of these other acids and things like that. You can end up with very red, irritated, dry, flaky, sore skin. So yeah, just let one product do its job at the time rather than, I guess, doubling up on things, because it's not the kind of thing that you can really maximize the benefits by doubling up. You probably just maximize your irritation, I would say. So my number 3 tip for dealing with breakouts from purging is to stay hydrated. I know that when you're breaking out, it can seem counterintuitive to, moisturize, but that's actually really what the skin needs. So don't be tempted to skip your moisturizer. A pH balanced moisturizer would be ideal, and something that contains ceramides and just some ingredients to really calm the skin down. So one of my favorite products when my skin is very angry at me is Applebee's Derma Daily Repair Cream. So I'm going to pop all of the links to the products that I've mentioned in today's episode in the show notes, so you can go and grab those over at www.thekoreanbeautyshow.com. And my 4th tip for dealing with breakouts is obviously continue with your sunscreen. Sunscreen SPF is an absolute must when you're using acids because your skin can become more sensitized. So be very religious about your sunscreen use and about, reapplying and things like that if you're exposed to the sun when you're using these types of products. Definitely, that is very important. So I hope that has helped you to decipher whether a new product is actually causing a product reaction or whether it's just a normal part of introducing a product like that into your skincare routine. If you would like to come and say hi, head over to Instagram. You will find me at lauren.kbeauty and you can leave me a DM. I love hearing from you guys. I love hearing how you're listening to the podcast, what you do when you listen to the podcast. I know people have told me that they are listening when they're driving to work. Some people are listening when they're cleaning, when they're walking the dog. So come and find me on Instagram, and I would love to know how you listen to the podcast as well. All right, guys, until next Tuesday, I will talk to you then.